Yo boys, it is P and we are back with another how to play like a PC player video, and this time we are getting into box fighting. I know a lot of y'all are wondering how to improve on this as it is one of those things that you don't see a lot of from Fortnite mobile gameplay especially, and even at higher levels. Like, you may not be getting exposed to the right techniques and how to play fights. In this video, I'm going to be giving beginner to pro tips, beginner, intermediate, and pro level tips that I hope can help you as a box fighter and help you blossom into the player that you should be fighting like on Fortnite Mobile, regardless if you're on 0 or 100 ping. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, what is box fighting? Simply enough, it's how you fight when you're in a box like this, more or less. If someone takes height on you, you can use box fighting to get it, like, fight them back, win the fight. If you are low on HP, you can use box fighting to turn the fight around. What am I trying to say? You can use box fighting to literally skill gap your opponent, turn it in your favor, especially if you're in the lower ranks. Half of those kids, all they know how to do is 50-50 and spray. No joke. That's their go-to signature move. So if you can beat that, you can do anything, and one of the ways to do that is through box fighting. If you're a beginner, first learn how to build a box. How do you do this? I'm going to go real slow. This is usually how. I usually try to start with the walls, 2 walls, build a floor and a cone above my head, and then turn around and place the other 2 walls. Simply that is literally it. That is how you build a box. Practice that. Or you could just do this. This is the easy way, in my opinion. 4 walls, do a 360, hold your build button down and place 4 walls, and then floor, cone, cone. That's how you build a box. If you want to build another box, edit out, 3 walls, cones right above you, just like that. Easy as that when it comes to building a box. Now, developing on that concept, once you get that one box, how to build a box down, extend into building 2 boxes I just did, more formally known as the 2x1. A large amount of fights based around this single concept. I bet you've seen players base up in metal like this, and then just, lag, but build a 2x1. A lot of the fights literally just go around that, and there's a reason for it. It opens more peak opportunities. There are more ways that you can counter the attack your opponent is getting on you, like however they're aggressing the box, in more ways versus than if you were in just one box. There's more possibilities. And I would be a fool not to show you guys those possibilities, so here are some right now. One is to edit out on walls where the opponent isn't swinging. So say they're swinging on this wall and blah blah blah, pickaxe swing. You could edit out on the right wall like this and then box them. Instead of just like, as you would if you're just in one box, just editing out on this wall and then they just counter shoot you. You have the ability to run out to the side and box them. So practice that whenever you're in a 2x1 situation. If you see them stare down like that, edit out to the side, box them up. You can also double edit the cone in the floor the enemy isn't swinging on. Say they're fighting you from above. Say it's probably the best situation to do it. They're right there, and they're swinging on this cone, like swinging on this. Then you can quickly, I would definitely say this is more for low ping, you can quickly edit a floor and cone, boom boom, pump them like infiltrator, and then boom boom, reset. Once again, say they're right there, boom boom, boom boom, jump up, boom boom. So that's a counter as well, double editing the top that they are not swinging on. There's also crossbox peek, though this one is more situational in my opinion. It includes using this wall right here, this center wall, to set up your peek on the other opponent. So it could be as simple as just say they're on this wall, just editing this wall like this, pumping them. Can't reset good right now, but resetting both of those walls, maybe they're right here. Editing that, pumping them, resetting. And then maybe, I don't know, going up, turning it into a play like that. But, I mean, you learn stuff like that down more over in the road. There's also, like I said, just going up there. If they're on your wall, you can just pretty much, like say they're swinging on that wall, you can just go like this. Double let it build up. Like that. Double let it build up, or you could also edit out to the side build up. So say they're swinging on your wall here or something. You can go like this. Like they're swinging onto the wall to your side, you could, in slow-mo, more simple, because I mean this is really intense stuff, but edit out like that or something and then go up, rather than try to 50 them on your peak. Basically, at the end of the day, the 2x1 gives you like a million more peaking opportunities than you've normally had, and that is why I like it. Now it's time to get to what the bulk of the video is going to resemble, what most of this video is going to be about, the beginner to pro tips. I feel like there's something in this that pretty much almost every mobile player can benefit from, that you can apply to your game, that can help you improve at Fortnite itself, and just overall as a box fighter. If you're a beginner, I would recommend learning all of those tips first before moving on to intermediate and pro, as they kind of set the fundamentals for how you're going to box fight later in the game. Once you learn those, whether you choose to do the intermediate tips or the pro tips depends on you, but both of those, I believe, are really helpful to help you fight efficiently, box fight efficiently, and can help you become a better player. So, without further ado, let's get into this so-called value, starting with performing right-hand peak, something I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard. So, when you're in a box, performing a right-hand peak usually means being to the most left side of the box, or in general on the left side of your peak. So say I do one of the most common peaks in the game, peanut butter peak, I want to be right here, left side of the peak. This is a right-hand peak, I jump, I peek him. Most PC pros, the reason this is so effective is because most PC pros have these peaks on autopilot. Like when they do them, they're automatically positioned here. They don't leave room to sit in the middle. So when you're going to do a right-hand peek, try to commit to it. Don't sit in the middle like this so you're half exposed and you get smacked in the face. Try to stand as leftmost as you can whenever you're doing these peaks, so the opponent literally cannot trade you, and that is why you see Peter Bot dropping 47 kills in a freaking solo victory cup, or how many ever he dropped. I don't know. Bro's just booga. Next level player. Getting on the topic of peaks and staying on it, the two most common peaks you will see are the window and peanut butter. So, basically this peak, this peak, this peak, this peak, this peak are all the windows, and then there's this peak. Peanut butter, which is called that because clicks cone that. Why? I don't even know. They are efficient in most fights and usually can help you get damage on the enemy the fastest without being like a complicated peak, like, I don't know, the Kanata Classic, like this, where literally nobody uses it. Easiest peaks to pull off in game, and that is why everybody uses them. For peanut butter, pretty much this is the peak you're going to want to do most of the time. It's simple. Sometimes you're going to want to crouch maybe so the player can't hit you, but this is the peanut butter peak most of the time. Windows, there's two variations I usually do. Either this, where I'm right on the wall, and then as soon as I peek them with the window, pump them, I reset. Like this. Reset. Should reset faster there, but internet smitternet. And there's this one that actually combines both of the peaks. In my opinion, if there's a player in my box or something, all peanut butter edit out to the side and window right here. Then reset. Who said you couldn't combine the peaks, bro? We're getting crazy over here. Now for the next tip, never double swing your pickaxe. You'd be shocked this is in the beginner tier because I do it like 50 million times and it is literally my worst mistake, but super helpful tip. So what am I saying here? Basically, if you're in a box fighting situation, I don't know, say you're like this, never double swing. Don't go like this. Do not try to go take the wall in two swings. Why do I say this? Because 99% of the time, the person in the other box, if they realize you're doing this, is going to peek you whenever you're midway through your two swings. So after you swing once, boom, they're going to edit like this. And then if you they pump you, more or less, you get hit. So basically leaves you wide open. You're vulnerable when you double swing. You can't attack them back, can't attack the player back peeking you. I've went over this in previous videos. So, how do you counter this? Simple. Swing, or let me do this, make it 2 hits rather. Swing, pull out to gun, swing, and then swing again. Just like that. Swing, pull out to gun, swing again. Literally practice this in creative. It's the easiest thing ever. Just build a wall, swing, pull out gun, swing, Do this. Literally, any beginner can do this. Swing, pull out wall. Swing, do this. Basically, swing, pull out, pump. Let me rephrase this in a simple way. What you want to do here for this drill, all you got to do literally to practice not double swinging is swing, pull out, pump. Swing, pull out, wall. Swing, pull out, pump. Swing, pull out, wall. If you're on if you want to practice for more technical situations that are probably going to happen more in game, like higher mat, you can just go swing, pull out, pump, swing, pull out, pump, swing, pull out, pump, and then swing, pull out, wall. Or swing, pull out this. Like sometimes you can, if the person doesn't have a cone in their box, you could edit. But I don't know, I'm getting too niche. Just whatever you do, don't double swing. Don't practice this. That is the basis of this tip. Now, a lot of y'all may be wondering, what is the easiest way to aggress box fights? And in my opinion, that is box fighting from one layer above, or vertical box fighting. Usually, there are those good players that pee on me whenever I try to do this, but whenever I'm fighting the average player, I do this strategy and they don't even try to counter me. It's the easiest way to aggress players. So how do you vertical box fight? More or less, literally just build a box above them. For this example, I'll do it diagonally and then just aggress from there. So maybe swing on their floor, swing on their cone, swing on their wall, and then you have the right to take all of those if you're aggressing from here. Sometimes I literally just do it right on the box like this. Just swing, pull out my pump, swing, take the cone, edit, swing, pull out my pump, swing. There's also those times where they'll double edit on you, which is why you always have to pull out to your pump. So if I swing and then they double edit on me like this, my first instinct is to just either take the wall like that or swing. In those double edit situations, that actually is an advantage as well. Like you want to look for, whenever you're vertical box fighting, you want them to double edit, because that means whenever they reset the edit, the wall will be low. So after they double edit, whenever they reset the edit, the wall will be low. Or floor in this case. Gosh, I'm waffling. Gotta get some sleep. So whenever that floor is low, all you gotta do, pickaxe it, and then it's yours. And then you're free to do what they want. They're a little rat trapped in the cage going like this. Place the cone, bam. So at the end of this all, if you want, like, the easiest way to box fight an enemy is from one layer above. I like to call it vertical box fighting, because you're box fighting from above them. And yeah, get good at that and you'll beat like 90% of players in box fights, especially in the lower ranks. When you're on the offense, as a general tip, say, I don't know, boom, you hit the enemy 80 damage and he boxes up. When you're on the offense, and this is a pretty easy drill to do in creative, practice double editing to the sides of them and double editing back, because there are a lot of situations in game where they're going to run out of their box after you hit them. Say they build a box. Say I'm this player. I don't know, we'll make this an example. If I get hit, I'm running out like this. Or, I don't know, I'll run out like this. Maybe I'll run out to the right. Maybe I'll run out to the left. Luckily, if you practice this tip, you can counter them. What am I saying to do? If you read their footsteps and notice they're running a certain direction, this is how you practice. All you have to do is literally this. Double edit that way. Say they're running right. Double edit that way. Say they're running back. I would tactical sprint to give you that speed boost so you can cover it if you know they're going to do it. Running back, double edit that way. I could have peeked that better, but is what it is. So, in creative, that's all you have to do. I don't know, just practice double editing like this, double editing like this. Tactical sprint, double editing. Just practice your drop down boxes, is what I'm trying to say. Because that move, drop down box, more or less, is effective in game. So, hit those double edits into box. To practice this concept, I would recommend you playing speed realistics, which I'll put the code on the screen right here, as a lot of players will do what I just did, where they just tarp out and kind of panic whenever you hit them. And it is the perfect practice to do that move. The double edit down, control tops, boom. Next up, this is a tip that I know for a fact will help a lot of y'all mobile players. If you are box fighting, do not hold the same wall for too long. There are players I know where the enemy will be pickaxing like this. It's hard pickaxing. And all they do is sit here and hold the wall. They don't think like, oh, edit out to the side. Oh, go up or something. They just sit and hold the wall. Why is this risky? Because in most case scenarios, the enemy is lower than 90 ping, and they will take that freaking wall eventually. Like, you're giving them 20 attempts, or like an insane amount of attempts to take the wall, and after some time, uh-oh, it's their wall! Oh no, he hit a left-hand piece. Oh no, I'm dead! Don't want to risk that. Don't want to risk that at all. So, how do you counter this? Literally, as simply as I just did, build out to the side, build a box, or just go backwards, build a box. Just build another box while they're attacking on that wall. Don't just sit there. Even, you could go up. Just basically, more or less, the tip there is move away from the spot. If they are swinging on a wall, do not edit on that wall, move away from that spot. Either go up to the side, or go up, go to the side, go back, just get out of there. Do not just keep holding that wall. Don't be one of those Johnny Joes, gold 3 players that just sits here, I'm gonna hold the wall forever. No. We want to see movement. Just like Ninja on that rainy New York New Year's Eve day. I want to see movement from you guys. Another tip to apply, spray through builds. Not all damage needs to be done with a shotgun. So, more or less what I'm saying is you can use weapons like an SMG, as I have here, or an AR to do damage to your opponents. And sometimes I've literally won fights off of that. Like, they'll be holding a right hand or something like this and sitting back, and I'll just be spraying. And they'll try to counter pump me or something, and then I hit them 100 damage with the freaking SMG, not even a pump. So, other words, you don't always need to have a pump to hit them. I definitely recommend this tip for applying pressure, as especially in the lower ranks, it'll make a lot of enemies nervous. It'll make a lot of enemies mess up quickly. Because think about if you were in that situation and someone's constantly going like this everywhere you try to edit. You're gonna panic. You're gonna be like, oh, he won't stop spraying me. He won't stop spraying me. I'm gonna edit up a right hand peek. And then you do this goofy edit where you're completely exposed. That's what you're putting in your opponent's head, making them pretty much forced to do a move. And especially if they're not a decent player already, they're gonna mess up. So definitely learn how to apply pressures in fights, and use spraying in fights. You can take walls well too, just like that. Talked about that in a previous video. For the final tip, if there are 3 players in a fight, never go in between those 2 players. Why do I say this? Sometimes you may intuitively do it and go in between those 2 players, and when you do this, you're basically forcing a 2v1. One player will focus you from the left side, and one player will focus you from the right side. They're not fighting each other anymore if you're in this position. They're fighting you. Which, trust me, you don't want that. I've been through a lot of that. So, what do you want to do instead? If you realize you're in this situation, first be aware of whenever you're in the situations like this. If you notice an enemy is on the left and he's on the right, and whenever you're in a situation like this, try to get out of it. Say, you could run to the left. Like, if you know an enemy's on the left, run to the left and put them in that sandwich position. If you know an enemy's on the right, run to the right and put them in the sandwich position. Basically, in other words, to get out of the sandwich position, force another enemy into the sandwich position, and you won't get 2v1. They will get 2v1, and try to make them get 2v1s. Manipulation at its finest. Jeez, bro. What the... Now it's time for the intermediate tips. This is for the probably platinum diamond players and up on mobile that know pretty much all those basics about box fightings, and that's like child's play to them. But I still believe these tips, some of them actually kind of recent, especially the first one, will help you in fights. First up, we have learning the bottom right peak. This has actually been popularized. I think Marius Cow is the first player to really start abusing it, but as of recent, it's become a more popular peak, and rightfully so. I'm talking about this peak. It's basically the reverse, the evil peanut butter. Instead of doing the peanut butter like this, you're doing it on the bottom now. Why is this a good peak? Because when you do it, especially if you have a cone, you have cover. The opponent basically, well, you can hit the opponent for a lot. They cannot hit you in the head. Like from their POV, they can't see your head as well, especially if you're positioned good. So you have more cover, and a lot of them don't expect it. So you could get, say you need like one chip shot to finish them off, you can go like this, chip them, they're dead. Like they're expecting you to do something like this or this. So if you throw in that bottom right tile peek, you're not gonna expect it. There's probably better videos out there on how to implement the peek, but if I were you, definitely learn how to apply this peek in fights, bottom right peek, as it is one of the more effective and optimal peeks in the game. Second up, I have learning how to exploit. This can help quickly eliminate the players without completely box fighting. So, whenever you exploit, a lot of people do it the same way though. Like they'll jump in like this. Instead of that, learn how to do stuff like phase exploits, where you use your momentum to phase in, or I don't know, other creative ways to exploit, like maybe cone edit, jump in. I have a video completely covering this, actually, the 3 master tips for fighting. So if you want to go and check that out, definitely help you improve. Definitely recommend it. It is one of the more insightful videos I've made. Now, for another thing you can learn, how to diagonally box fight. This is more or less just setting up your box diagonally to the opponent. So like this. The reason people do this is so that if you're swinging your pickaxe and pulling out your gun like this, and you realize they're going to edit, you have time to reset like that. So basically they can't damage you, and if you know how to play your peaks correctly, you can peek the opponent well. Especially sometimes you can do this vertically as well, just like how I was talking about the vertical box fights earlier and how to do it, approach it diagonally. Approaching the box fight diagonally is a very effective way to aggress the fight. So, more or less, learn how to do diagonal box fighting vertically and learn how to play it like this. I, in my opinion, am not the best diagonal box fighter and not the best explainer, so I'm going to link a video in the description below by Zycoma. Check out those diagonal box fighting videos and learn how to diagonal box fight on mobile. As another tip, more for awareness, listen to audio cues. If you hear the opponent, this can help you in just so many ways. I'll give a bunch of examples right here. Example 1, if you hear the opponent reloading, say they shoot and reload, that means they're gonna, they can't shoot you back because they're reloading their gun. If you're aware of this and you hear it happening, say, oh, I'm reloading my gun, you can literally take their wall while they're doing it because they're not going to expect you to. They're full focused on reloading the gun. That's one cue. There's another cue. I don't have the shotgun on the map, unfortunately, so I can't replicate it, but also with those audio cues, take into account what shotgun they have. If they have a auto shotgun or a spray shotgun, you already know how they're going to freaking play the fight. They're going to try to 50-50 you. So take that into account. If they're going to have the hammer, they'll probably play the fight slower. But more importantly, if they have a spray shotgun, like the gatekeeper or the auto, they're going to peek you fast. Play accordingly to that. Maybe play slower. Don't try to rush things as fast so they don't damage you. So, yap session aside, pay attention to what shotgun they pull out as an audio cue. Finally, and easily the most important audio cue is whenever, regardless of what gun it is, they're pulling a gun out. This usually means that they are about to edit, or they are aware that you are pickaxe swinging your wall and they are about to defend. They're not holding a wall like this. They are ready to shoot you. So their next move is literally they're going to be like this. Like they're going to edit on you and shoot you as a retaliation, or as soon as you break the wall, they'll try to like pre-fire you or something. Like they know what you're doing. Basically, they're fully aware of you fighting them. So if they have a gun pulled out like this, you really have to remember to do the swing and pickaxe thing. Approach with caution. Going off of the double swing tip I provided earlier, you can also fake pickaxe a wall to beta edit. So say it's set up like this, you can go like this. So say I swing once, I can go like this. Like if I'm guessing that they're going to edit on the next thing, I can swing and then fake an edit, or fake a swing like that, and pull out my gun. This usually, if you have a opponent that edits a lot, Like say every time you drop down he insta edits or something like that. Should be a telltale sign. Like just if you know they're gonna edit, if you have a feeling they're gonna edit, usually this tip is applicable a lot after the first swing, especially in lower elo lobbies. They will edit. So swing once, pull out gun, pull out, swing again, and then pull out gun, because they're usually gonna assume you're gonna swing a second time. Basically, they think you're gonna swing in an AB pattern. You're gonna swing once, you're gonna swing again. So when you swing once, I did that wrong, but when you swing once, and then you swing and then you instantly pull out your gun, it throws them off, and you pretty much are anticipating their peak. W. Chess Booth, W. Magnus Carlsen. So what I am saying is, tip you can do, fake the pickaxe swing like that. This is a tip, moreover, to keep you protected and make sure you don't get hit on an unintentional bad peek. If you're on offense or defense and someone edits on you, don't trade if you don't have to. So what do I mean like this? Say you're spraying and they edit on you. You can literally just look for the area of the wall that they didn't edit and shoot it, and then take the wall. Because usually in that situation, when they're editing, after they edit the wall, they're looking for a counter peek on you. So if you take the wall before they can do it, they're defenseless. It's kind of complicated to explain, but sometimes, and I believe this is a really good habit to have, prioritize like taking the wall versus trying to trade them on a peak where they have the advantage. Like say you're like this, running like this, and you try to trade them, they're going to have the advantage. You're running into their peak. In other words, put this subtitle at the bottom of the screen. Don't run into their peak. Take the wall instead. It's like that. Now it's time for the pro tips. In my opinion, these are the tips that, out of all of these, won't have the most direct impact on your game, but are still really niche tips that can help you to outperform the best of the best players in ranked specifically. Like the elite champion and unreal players, and just overall make you fight better. You might even end up killing a pro or some high PR player. I don't know. Who knows? The first tip is, if you are low on HP and box fighting, try to build in hard mats, brick and metal. So, say you do a bad peek. Happens to the best of us. Oh, I peek like this. Oh no, I'm 20 HP. Whenever you're in this mode, you want to build in hard and metal mats. So, as a practice, you can probably play speed realistics or something. Whenever you get in that low HP mode, I need to switch my mats. Go over to here to your mats, your mat count, where your mat count is, and click the breaker metal. Switch to that, and then, can't build right now, we're trash, but tarp out. You can do metal as well if you want to really protect yourself, build out in metal. A lot of players default to this because it's the hardest to break in, has the most HP. But what I am saying is build in brick or metal whenever you are on low HP, because it gives more time for you to heal. As I just said, these walls are higher on HP, which means the opponent has to take more damage, whether through swings or gun, to get in. So by the time they get in, you've probably already popped your heals, especially if chuck splashes, bananas, minis, etc. And by the time they're in, make a counter edit play. Boom. So, basis of this tip, whenever you're low HP, switch to brick and metal. Also, if you're low and being fought often, change layers. Trust me on this one. This is literally like one of the most useful tips out of all of them, in my opinion. I literally use this like all the fights I'm low. So, say they're really aggressing on your box. You build a 2x1, and they're really aggressing on it. Change your layer. Simple as editing peanut butter out to the right and building up. Oh, you could also do this. Go down. Simple as, in the most simple form, editing a floor going down like that. Once again, this is literally all you have to do to go down. Edit a floor, go down. Go up. To go up, what you have to do, you can go like this. Been doing that a lot lately, or just edit out to the side. Go up. So, whenever you're low HP, or you want to get away from the enemy in general and maybe get a clean peek while they're trying to aggress you, just change layers. Next one, a bit of a more scenario-based tip, but use your terrain to your advantage. Say there's like a weird building with no build areas and you know of it, and you know if the player is going to aggress you, you're going to have the advantage, use that building. Say there's like a something like this, where you can sit below, I don't know, some ground location. Sit on low ground is basically what I'm trying to say. And go for a peek on your enemy whenever they build through, like pump them. Use it. Martos literally has a tip like that, where even your box. You could use the build of your box to peek the enemy. Like, I could stand outside on the box like this and wait for him to peek. Yeah. I don't know how effective that is now, but pretty sure it is. The easiest way to implement this tip is just study around where you land. Are there bushes where you can surprise your enemy? Are there buildings whenever you're getting hit you can just tarp into? And like staircases you can play or something? Are there layers in that building? Like, can you go up the building, go up the staircase? I don't know, like this. Double it up and like stall more time. Bunch of yap stuff, but really important in my opinion. Like stuff like that, small factors like that, you can look into and can literally help you winning an off spawn. This one you can apply to a lot of fights. When you're box fighting, know where you are positioned at all times, in accordance to the enemy. This tip is a little harder to apply than the others, which is why I put it in the pro section, as it's something you kind of learn over time. Though it is very important and something I'm still working on, and something I can say is really helpful if you can get down, even though I'm kind of a noob at it still. Situations where this matters could be on offense. For example, say you're taking the wall. Say you're taking a wall from here. You want to stand on top of the ramp, so that if the guy cones you, you phase on top of it. They can't like cone you right here. If you're not on the top of the ramp, they can cone you and then, I don't know, play a full box and, oh no, I'm stuck. Versus if you're up here, the craziest tech ever. Versus if you're up here, cone is just placed above. That's one example. How you position for your own peaks also matters a lot. I actually learned this one in specific from Chris FN. Yo, big shout out to him. I did not know that. I said I'm still shocked I didn't know it until now. But, for example, whenever you're doing a window peek, there's usually a situation where you want to, like, most of the time, you're going to want to be right against the wall. Like this. Because whenever you're right against the wall like this, the opponent has the least time to react. Another, where your position matters in the peek. Boom. Just like that. Peanut butter, this applies to, I'm pretty sure. Like, if you're all the way right here, it's really hard for the opponent to hit you, especially if they're standing vertically in front of you. Jumping or crouching can also make certain peaks work. Like, I know, for the bottom right peak I showed earlier in intermediate, if you jump while you do this peak, you're extremely hard to hit. Like, basically all the opponent can hit is your freaking toes. So that's one thing. And crouching, say there are situations where you have to crouch behind the peanut butter peak in order to not be seen, usually when the opponent's on this side, I guess. And if you don't crouch, then your head might be visible a little bit. I don't know. So jumping and crouching can also play into the movement, or position rather, the position of your opponent. Basically, the position of your player. Crouching and jumping can also play into the position of your player, is what I'm trying to say. You take anything from this tip, focus on the position of your player more, as kind of is important, especially in the higher leagues. Like tiny stuff like this can win or lose a fight. I was thinking of putting this tip in intermediate because it is one of the more effective ones, but at the same time, especially if you're just beginning to learn the fundamentals, it's one of those harder ones to apply. The tip is to aggress from many different angles. So say I'm the guy box fighting the opponent. I don't want to go from this same angle for too long. Like, I don't want to just sit on one stair. Don't aggress the same wall or like same building piece for the longest time. If you do this, like the enemy's just going to be waiting. They're going to pick you. You're literally giving them time to think of a move. Instead, maybe go like this. Stuff like that. Like, change the wall you're aggressing from. Change the building piece you're aggressing from often. Never aggress static. Don't just sit right here and aggress from that same spot. Basically, change it up. Change where you're fighting from. And it's a fun tip to learn. makes you harder to hit, more difficult to fight against, especially box fight. Finally, for all the pros of the pros, you're a pro if you made it to the end of this video, in my opinion. The people that know all of these tips and have applied them already, there probably are a few of y'all out there. Fight good PC and console players. This is usually possible through scrim servers like Noble or NA Opens, which, oh, just ask me in the comments. I'll link you the Discord. And is important to learn good habits. Many players in these discords are often looking to box fight, so finding a decent player isn't as hard. In these box fights, when you make a mistake, it will be 10 times clearer, trust me. The good player will show what you did wrong in your face, and it will be painful, I'm gonna be honest. But, as a positive, this makes improving easier, as you and they can quickly identify your weaknesses, which you can intentionally train. I'll make a video on that eventually, how to effectively practice on Fortnite Mobile. Be on the lookout for that. These players can also teach new habits and peaks you wouldn't think to apply it. So maybe a peak you've never seen before, they might pull it off and then you're like, oh, I can use that peak in game. No way. Mind blown. Or play a different playstyle than you're used to. Maybe they'll do a movement-based playstyle where they're not even trying to take your wall. They just jump around like this. I don't know, trying to bait a shot. Go for a side shot. And you want to get used to those type of players. Learning to fight these players will make fighting them in-game where it actually matters significantly easier. Which I can say crazy weird players, like players who have those weird unorthodox playstyles, are definitely present in Unreal lobbies. Anyways, that was the end of the video. I know I did a lot of yapping in this video, and it's because I kind of just went off of the concepts rather than really having a scripted video like I usually do with educational videos. But if you want me to deep dive in any of these topics and make a separate video on it specifically, let me know in the comments below. Also, what are you guys looking for me to make these how-to videos on? How to blank like a PC player, how to do this on Fortnite Mobile. What educational content do you want to see from me? Let me know that in the comments below as well. Trust me, trust me, trust me. I'll be on the lookout. And with that being said, Big Papa, just kidding, I'm not Biggie Smalls. Big P out. Peace.